When you think of Taylor Swift, I wonder what comes to your mind. For me, besides that song Love Story that can turn a concert into a proposal scene, what impresses me most about Taylor are her enchanting blue eyes. We often say that the eyes are the windows to the soul. When we look at others, our gaze is naturally drawn to their eyes. But have you ever wondered why Taylor's eyes are blue? And what exactly determines the color of our own eyes? Hello everyone, welcome to the Observation Room. Today I'm here to finally address a topic and talk with you about eye color, something we all have, yet each of us is unique. If you've ever closely observed other people's eyes, you may have noticed that what we commonly refer to as eye color actually means the color of the iris. The way iris color is determined is somewhat similar to how hair color works, as it is also influenced by melanin. For example, the black and brown eyes we often see, these darker eye colors are mainly determined by the amount of melanin present in the iris. In contrast, for lighter colored blue eyes like Mei-Mei's, there is much less melanin in the iris. However, here, I need to introduce a new concept from physics, Rayleigh scattering. Simply put, when visible light passes through an apparently transparent medium and encounters particles much smaller than the wavelength of light, scattering occurs. And because blue light, which has a shorter wavelength, is less penetrating than other wavelengths, it scatters more. That's why transparent things like the sky and the ocean appear blue more easily under the sun. So when light enters Mei-Mei's eyes, the longer wavelength light passes through the stroma and is absorbed by the pigment cell-filled epithelial layer at the innermost part of the iris, while the shorter wavelength blue light undergoes Rayleigh scattering in the sparsely populated iris stroma, making her eyes appear blue, just like the sky and the ocean. By comparison, if Rayleigh scattering did not occur in Mei-Mei's iris stroma, then Mei-Mei might have gray eyes like Yuan Fei and Changpu. And if there were a bit more melanin in her iris stroma, the yellow reflected from the iris would mix with the blue produced by Rayleigh scattering, resulting in green eyes like Sakura's. As for the highly popular red, purple, and heterochromatic eyes in anime, to some extent they are actually not quite normal. In fact, the simplest way to get red or purple eyes is to have albinism. Due to mutations in genes related to melanin synthesis like TYR and OCA2, people with albinism can lack melanin in both the iris stroma and pigment epithelium. When light enters the eye, it passes through the iris to the retinal blood vessels, which then reflect back a red color. If Rayleigh scattering adds a blue tint on top of this, it will mix to create a purple iris effect. Although this kind of eye color may sound cool, the lack of melanin protection inevitably leads to impaired vision in patients, resulting in symptoms such as decreased visual acuity and light sensitivity. In addition, the heterochromia that everyone envies, also known as heterochromia iridum, has even more complex causes. It can be due to congenital inheritance, or it may result from acquired eye injuries or diseases. Most cases of congenital heterochromia iridum are caused by genetic mutations that lead to different levels of melanin in each eye. Take the OCA2 and HERC2 genes on our chromosome 15 as an example. The former is responsible for controlling melanin production, while the latter regulates the expression of the former gene. So if either of these two genes is abnormally expressed in one of your eyes, resulting in a lack of melanin in the iris stroma, you could end up with a blue eye like Mei-Mei's, even if your original eye color is brown, turning you into someone with heterochromia that everyone envies. However, it's important to note that although heterochromia usually doesn't affect your health, there are always exceptions where this beauty comes at a price. For example, Waardenburg syndrome, which can also cause heterochromia, or blue eyes, is caused by mutations in genes such as PAX3 on chromosome 2. This not only affects the migration and differentiation of melanocytes, leading to abnormal eye and hair color, but can also result in severe hearing impairment. So, whether you prefer red eyes, purple eyes, or heterochromia, in fact, your natural eye color is probably still the best. Don't you agree? That's all for this video. If there are any other topics you're interested in, feel free to interact with me in the comments or bullet chat. Finally, thank you so much for all your likes, comments, and follows. I'll see you again next time.